made. She's heaven's angel, so strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. The true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah. Where would we be without you? You brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama. Yeah. And Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen, she's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh, Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying back to work, 'cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. Where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, yes you are, eccentric, empowering. You're mine, she's a queen. You're mine, you're my. Treat her like no price could be put on how much she's worth. So valuable, she's the soul of the earth. Yeah. All a part of God's genius plan. Powerful as she can be, the man's H-E-L-P. Yes, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She is humble, honest, and helpful. What I like about her is she's educated. She's my ebony, empowering. Yeah, 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 yeah. She's my queen. Sophisticated, strong, simply amazing. She's amazing to me. Humble, honest, if you ever had one. She's educated, she's my queen. She builds me up, she keeps me going. Sophisticated, strong, she's my queen. Simply amazing, simply amazing. She is, oh my, she's my queen. Educated, ebony, she's educated and she's empowering. She is my queen.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Bishop R.C. Blakes. R.C. is an author, empowerment teacher, and the proud pastor of the New Home Ministries of New Orleans, Louisiana and Houston, Texas. His message circles the globe. His conversational and candid approach to challenging content makes him a relevant voice to all generations. Get ready for a life-changing transformational conversation.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, family. This is your pastor. I guess I am the pastor of a lot of you all. This is R.C. Blakes coming to you again. And I'm actually coming to you from the beautiful, beautiful island of Anguilla. Somewhere out here in the Caribbean Sea, somewhere around the Atlantic Ocean or something like that. Beautiful, beautiful place, man. Lisa and I have thoroughly enjoyed our time here. But I'm excited about this conversation for tonight. And what I need you to do is I need you to invite as many people as you can to come into this conversation. And if you are a regular here on this platform, and if you know that this content is the kind of content that you can approve of, I need you to really like the content, literally X out and press like, because the algorithms on these platforms have really changed a lot. And I think healthy, constructive, thoughtful content is really being pushed to the back these days. It's almost like everything's about gossip or, gotcha kind of content, a buffoonery, really. And so for us to really get our message, for us to really reach as many people as we possibly can reach, it means that those who are faithfuls in my particular community have to intentionally help me to raise royal consciousness across the globe. And you do that by liking and sharing. You can share this if you're on YouTube. You can share this on, Twitter and Facebook. And you know how to do all of those things. But I need you to help me with those things. Now, we have a very intentional and powerful conversation for today. And this stems out of just my passion, burden, calling, if you will, to really speak wisdom into a generation of women who in a lot of cases have none. And it shows up when it comes down to your relational choices, the way you manage your relationships with men, the way you manage your relationships with bad men primarily, but it also shows up in the way you mismanage your relationships with good men. It's indicative of the fact that no one's really sat you down to teach you certain things. And so today I want to deal with 7 signs that a man is really in love with you. And there are probably more signs than the ones I'm going to lay out, but these are the 7 that really resonate with me as a man. And these resonate with me because these are the things that began to develop in me when I really became mature enough, man enough to actually love a woman. When I really came to a place where I understood the difference between infatuation or lust for a woman or sexual attraction to a woman versus I really love this woman. These 7 things that I'm getting ready to share with you are things that really played out in my life. The first thing I want to do, just to lay some groundwork, is I want to ask a question. Since I'm talking directly to women. Some men are probably listening, and they'll say amen, or they'll disagree, or whatever. Hopefully they'll respond. But the first question I want to ask is, why don't women know when a man loves them or not? Why are women so oblivious to this? Why are women in a position where a man can love you and you not have a clue? Or you're in a position where a man doesn't love you, he's really just here to get what he wants to get from you, and you think he actually loves you. And in either case, you do yourself a major disservice, because if you don't recognize authentic love from a genuine man, you're going to lose him. There's no two ways about it. You're going to lose him. If you deem some other kind of attachment as the love of a man, when it's really probably more about sex, or it's more about some narcissistic need that he's finding met in you as the supply, you're going to waste your life with a man that you should have never given a conversation to. And love is more, it's actually, love to a woman is more important than love to a man, because it's been said, and I somewhat to a large degree agree, that the most important thing to a man is respect. A man views respect as love. If you respect a man, he can live with you the rest of his life. You respect him, and you're not bringing drama, he can live with you the rest of his days happily. But for a woman to be loved and to love is very important to the core of the feminine soul. A woman needs to know that she's loved, that she's revered, and a woman needs to be in a situation where she's free enough, where she feels safe enough to be able to give all of the love she has to a man. But though it is so important to a woman, there are very few women that really understand the love of a man. I think, it could be chalked up to a few things. The first thing I listed here is cultural conditioning. When you look at culture today, and you look at music, you look at pop culture, you look at literature, you look at movies, it's almost impossible for a woman to get any concept of what the love of a man looks like, because pop culture is telling you basically to go find yourself a narcissist that will use and abuse you and call that love. And so a lot of times women are missing it in terms of understanding the true essence of the love of an authentic, genuine grown man, because of cultural conditioning. The culture has conditioned you. The culture of your family, the culture of your community has conditioned you not to recognize, and watch this, not to even appreciate authentic love, which brings me to letter B. Broken consciousness has misdefined love. When a woman has gone through the twists and turns of life, and society has done everything it possibly can and more to empty the woman's self-esteem, to lower the woman's expectations for herself, what happens is she begins to misdefine love. When a woman suffers from broken consciousness, she doesn't know who she is, she doesn't demand her worth, she doesn't walk, at her true, authentic level. What happens is she gets inferior experiences. And after a while, these inferior experiences redefines who she is, and it also redefines what love is. So a woman, many women, you'd be amazed, will define love as, many women will define love as sex, or sexual attraction. A man that exhibits sexual aggression. Many women with broken consciousness view that as love. And if a man is not sexually aggressive, they think he does not love her. So she can have a healthy, godly man that is not sexually aggressive, moving at her pace, and she will view that as a lack of love. And then she'll go right out of that experience and she'll go to a man that is sexually aggressive because all he really wants from her is sex, and he'll use her body, and she'll think that that's love, and she'll just continue to compound one soul tie after another, after another, after another, because of her broken consciousness. Letter C, her low self-esteem puts her in a position where she can't really imagine love. She can't imagine being loved. And so even when she encounters the authentic love of a man, she writes it off, she sabotages it, because her low self-esteem won't let her imagine that a man could respect her, that a man could actually desire her and her alone, that a man would want to put her on a pedestal, so to speak, in a balanced sense. She can't imagine that. And so these are a lot of the things. And then I think also, even going back to cultural conditioning, the broken sisterhood or the toxic sisterhood plays into women not being able to recognize the authentic love of a genuine man. Because what are these toxic sisterhoods telling you? Oh, he's a square. He's not edgy enough. He's not exciting enough, and all of this kind of, crap. And because you don't have, your individuality muscles strengthened, you just kind of rolling with the group. And you're letting these women that can't even spell man talk you out of one good man after another. Come on now. Okay, let me leave that alone. My nerves got bad right there. I actually got mad right there. Because I'm watching this happen all the time. You're letting the conditioning of your community rob you of your capacity to grow in your understanding as it relates to the love of a man. Now, to the main point, 7 signs a man loves a woman. Number 1, when a man loves a woman, he will exhibit emotional openness. He will exhibit emotional openness. I think it was one of my favorite basketball players and one of the businessmen that I respect most in the world, Shaquille O'Neal, who recently said, never open up your heart to a woman. Never, I have to admit, I did not watch the interview. These are just sound bites I've gotten from here or there. So, just take it with a grain of salt, in other words. But it said that he made that statement. Never open up your heart to a woman, never tell a woman, all that's on your mind. Well, why does he make that statement? It's because most men who have been hurt, and men that have been hurt become predators. Predators do not show any weakness. Predators are not transparent. If a man has not been hurt and he's not a predator, why would he say never open your heart to a woman? He's never loved a woman. And the game teaches us from little boys, never reveal your emotions. Never let them know what you're thinking. We're taught that from little boys. But when a man is healthy enough and a man actually loves a woman, he will open his heart emotionally to that woman. A man in love may show increased emotional vulnerability and openness with the woman he loves. sharing his innermost thoughts and feelings. A man deeply in love may exhibit increased emotional openness with the woman he really loves, and this can manifest as a willingness to share his heart, his thoughts, his feelings, and a desire for genuine, intimate communication. Now, watch this. Let me have a therapeutic moment right here. And I'm no mental health professional, but let me just play like I'm one for a second. How many of you, listen to me well, and I want you to answer this question honestly. You don't have to, you can answer in the chat if you're comfortable with that, but I need you to answer this in your own heart. How many of you have had men? They were great lookers. They had the income. They loved God. They had a little edge to them. They had mystery to them. You couldn't figure them out in the beginning. And then after a week, 2, 3 weeks, a month or two, when the brother's heart opened and he started being more emotionally available, it turned you off. It turned you off. And because you were embarrassed by the real truth, you just said there's something wrong with the chemistry. There was nothing wrong with the chemistry. There was nothing wrong with the man. The problem was that you have been conditioned by toxic culture to believe that a man that is emotionally vulnerable and open is a square and not attractive. I'll pause right there. Y'all can type whatever you want to type in the comments. It was your brokenness that peeped its big old greasy head up in a perfect situation and sabotaged it. Because you, without having dealt with your personal issues, you don't know how to receive a man that is actually loving you in the sense of being emotionally open. And then what happens is you break the heart of a guy like this once he gets to a point where he feels comfortable to open up, and then you reject him. Now you take a good guy and you turn him into a monster. You see, because when a woman's heart is broken, she goes and she wets the pillow at night. She cries on the pillow at night. But when a man's heart is broken, he burns the community down. You just created a monster. But the Bible says in Ephesians 5:25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Just as love your wives like Christ loved the church and gave himself up. He made himself what? Entirely, totally vulnerable. He wasn't only emotionally open, he was physically open. He was spiritually open. For the love of the church, he sacrificed himself for the love of a church. You got to understand this about a man, about a pure heterosexual man. When a man opens his heart and he starts telling you his feelings and his thoughts, that is self-sacrificing for us. That's taking a risk that no man in his right mind is comfortable with. He's trusting you with something very, very, very precious. And if you don't respond to it properly, you may never get that moment from that man again. When a man is not open, he will never make himself vulnerable to a woman's approval. When a man is open and he's not received, he will more than likely never open again. But when a man loves you, he will open his heart emotionally. Oscar Wilde said the very essence of romance is uncertainty. When a man puts himself in a position where he's no longer in control and the response is unpredictable, that is the most romantic gesture a man can make. When when he puts his ego in your hands by saying, you know, I think I really, and I'm not talking about this BS type stuff with it. I mean, I think I love you. No, I'm talking about a man. I'm not talking about a man that's just telling you something to get you in the bed. I'm talking about a man that you spend some time with and you can feel it in your soul, in your spirit. This man really loves you. You know, maybe you have slept with him and he don't run off after he sleeps with you. And he's stuck around and now he's telling you he loves you. Well, you know, that's one of the most romantic things a man can do. Now, if you don't love him, you know, that's another matter. You can't tell him you love him if you don't love him. You'd be doing him harm. But you got to find a respectful, humane way of dealing with that when a man is really expressing love for you. The second thing, signs that a man really loves you, he develops a protective instinct. He develops a protective instinct. He may exhibit a strong desire to protect and care for the woman, both emotionally and physically, as a manifestation of his love and concern. So this is where a lot of women misunderstand men. You call it control. Oh, you're trying to control me. Because he says to you, you know, you're driving by yourself late at night, and he says to you, well, I'd like to follow you home to make certain that you're straight. Or he says to you, call me as soon as you get home, you know, or XY, FaceTime me, you know, before you get out the car. And then there you go with, oh, you're just trying to control me. You're trying to see where I'm at. You're trying to see what I do. See, that's your grandma and your mama and them that ain't never had a man coming up out of you. Any man that loves a woman, see, once a man has been with you, maybe he's experienced you sexually, he's gone on a date and the date is done. If that's all he wanted from you, he don't care what happened. He don't care nothing about you after that. When a man start telling you stuff like, you know, call me, FaceTime me before you get out the car, let me know what's going on, da 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 da. That is the way a man is saying to you without words, saying to you, I have some real feelings for you and I want to protect you. This is why I have such an issue, you know, and I don't mean to, you know, start no brush fire here today, but this is why I have such an issue with men that don't understand what I mean when I say, you know, a grown man should have a desire, even if he doesn't have a bank account. He should have a desire to provide for his woman 100%. Why? Because one of the most protective things a man can do is to earn. And if a man doesn't have a desire to earn to take care of his woman, he doesn't have a heart to protect her. Most of the issues you're going to have, they're not going to be physical encounters. It's going to be financial stuff. That you know, when a man really loves you, he puts himself in a position where he can answer the bell, because men in love often demonstrate a strong desire to protect and care for the women they love, both, again, emotionally and physically. This protective instinct can be seen as a manifestation of their deep emotional connection and concern for their partner's well-being. We saw a recent example of this, and you know, you may like or not like this couple. You know, that's not the issue, because I'm not necessarily a fan of either of them either. You know, you saw the thing, I think, at the, what was it, not the Oscars, the music thing. You know the music thing. I forget the name of it. Where Jay-Z stood up, and they gave him some kind of award. Grammys gave him some kind of an award, and he took the occasion to say, "Y'all haven't done my wife right. My wife got more Grammys than anybody in the world, anybody in history, and she ain't never got Album of the Year." Well, where did that come from? That's the way a man protects his woman. She doesn't have to say anything. He says it. But you know what? To get that kind of protection from a man, it means that a woman has to learn to submit to that strength. A woman has to learn to honor that strength. And then you'll find your man stepping to the plate to protect you. But a man wanting to protect you is it's not a bad thing. It's not what feminism says. Well, I can speak for myself. I can tell you, I don't need no hero. I can do it for myself. Well, we all know you can do it for yourself. But if you got a man, there's some things that are just unnecessary for you to do. Men that love women protect them. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 28 and 29 says, "So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church." A man protects his wife like he protects himself. When a man loves you, he will protect you. If you got a little man that's never protecting you, he's leaving you open and vulnerable emotionally, physically. That little man don't love you. A man that loves you protects you. Stop getting angry with a man that wants to protect you. Stop getting angry with a man that wants to protect you. Now, I understand that there's many days a thin line between a man that wants to protect you versus a man that wants to control you and manipulate you. You're smart enough to know the difference. You're smart enough to know the difference. You're smart enough to know the difference. So don't misread a man that's just loving you and wanting to protect you as a man that's trying to control you or manipulate you. Number 3, 7 signs that a man loves a woman. He prioritizes her needs. He prioritizes her needs. He's not selfish. I'm sitting here right now in Anguilla on an island. Ain't nothing on this island but a wonderful view, beautiful resort, all right food, amazing beaches. I'm not no beach guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have no beach clothes. I don't even have sandals. Why am I over here on this island? I could be in Italy somewhere. I could be in Africa somewhere. I'm over here on an island. They don't have no fast food over here. Not that I would eat it, but there's no fast food. Ain't no malls. None of that. Why am I over here on an island where all I can do is look at the view, go to sleep, eat, film, check my email. Lisa loves the beach. Lisa's an island girl. She loves the sand. She loves the sun. She loves the sound of the water. I came way over here, and I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong, because I prioritize her needs. It's not just a want for her. It's a need for her. So it's not about what I would prefer. I prefer what my woman needs. If you don't have a man that prioritizes your needs, you ain't got no man that love you. But when you start seeing a man saying to you, babe, what would you like to do? Answer the man. Give the man an answer. Where would you like to eat today? I know that it's been said, and I agree with it to a large extent, that a man ought to be decisive and be able to say, okay, I want to bring you here or there for dinner or vacation or whatever. Man ought to be decisive like that. But you know what? When a man loves a woman, he wants to know what are your preferences, because he wants to prioritize your needs and your desires. That does not make him indecisive. That does not make him, unattractive. He ain't got enough roughneck in him. He may demonstrate a willingness to prioritize the woman's needs and desires, often placing them above his own. Now, would I have chosen Anguilla to come to? I'm coming back because I find that it's very restful for me. I would not have chosen Anguilla. I wouldn't have I would have been somewhere in Africa, somewhere in Europe, maybe over in Australia. I wouldn't have chosen Anguilla. but because I prioritize my woman's needs above my own. When a man is in love, he will show a willingness to prioritize your needs and your desires, placing them above his own. Now, if you look in Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, it reads like this: do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. Now, if that applies to the fellowship and people in general, how much more does that apply to a man that loves a woman or a woman that loves a man? That they prefer one another. That they prefer one another. Look what 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 5 says. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy, does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It's not what? Self-seeking. When a man loves you, he is seeking. He's trying to find the thing that you desire, the thing that you love, the thing that you want, and he prioritizes it. Don't take advantage of that. Don't take advantage of that. Because if you have a real man and you try to take advantage of his desire to prioritize your desires, he's going to read through that very quickly. Nicholas Sparks says the best love is the kind that awakens the soul and makes us reach for more. That plants a fire in our hearts and brings peace to our minds. What kind of love is this? This is the kind of love where you're with somebody that prioritizes your needs. You prioritize theirs, they prioritize yours, and because each of you prioritizes the other, nobody's left with any unmet needs. Now, too often in our society, the woman prioritizes the needs and the desires of the man, and very rarely do women have men who prioritize your needs. And of course, that goes both ways. In some cases, women are selfish, but in most cases, it's the man that is the selfish one. When you find a man that's prioritizing your needs, don't allow your broken consciousness to tell you he's unattractive, he doesn't have enough this or that, the chemistry's off. No, you need therapy. You need counseling. You need deliverance. You need something. Maybe you need to read a Dr. Seuss book, but you need to do something because you got something wrong with you that's caused. Okay, let me leave that alone. I'm getting mad today for some reason. Number four, 7 signs that a man really loves you, that a man really loves a woman. A man that really loves you has deep empathy. He feels you. I make the statement all the time, a man that's constantly triggering you doesn't love you. Because when a man loves you, he learns you. A man is not going to continue to do or say things that bring you to tears, break your heart. And here it is, year or two, you've been together and he's still doing the same stuff. He's not empathetic. He's not feeling you. When a man loves you, he becomes deeply empathetic. When Lisa and I first got married, I was hurting her feelings a lot. I was having to apologize a lot. I didn't even understand what a whole lot of these apologies were for. But as I lived with her and as I continued to love her, I began to feel her and understand her the more. When a man loves you, he's empathetic towards you. A man in love may display a heightened sense of empathy and understanding towards the woman's emotions and experiences, seeking to support her through both joys and challenges. Men in love often display great empathy for the women they love. This can be reflected in their efforts to support her in whatever she's dealing with. right? You find a man that feels you, and you feel heard, you feel seen. Man, don't discount that. Don't discount that. You got a man that hears you and sees you. Don't discount that, because you got somebody whistling at you that may be 2 inches taller and got a couple extra knots in his stomach. Don't discount that, because that's not easy to find. It's not easy for a woman to find a man that sees her, hears her, understands her, feels her, knows her. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." Be what? Kind and compassionate. A man that loves you is compassionate. He's not harsh. He's not difficult. He's not short. At least not most of the time. We all have our moments. But generally, he's what? Compassionate. He feels you. He has empathy for you. Paulo Coelho says, when we love, we always strive to become better than we are. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. When a man really loves you, he becomes better for loving you, and he makes you better for having been loved by him, because he will feel you like no other man has ever felt you in your life. And he will become your safe place. Now listen to this statement very carefully. I'm trying to drive home a point if you're not catching my drift here. A safe man quite often becomes an unattractive man to a woman that has not done her personal work. The moment he becomes safe is the moment your broken consciousness begins to say to you, something about him, something about you got to deal with. Number 5, 7 signs that a man really loves a woman. He exhibits commitment and consistency. Commitment and consistency. He may consistently demonstrate commitment to the relationship and make efforts to maintain a strong, enduring connection with the woman he loves. This can include showing up for her in both good and difficult times, and actively working to nurture the relationship. He's consistently committed. He's the same way all the time. A lot of women have had the experience of giving in sexually to a man, and then, he pursues you heavily until he gets you in the bed. And once he gets you in the bed, he starts slowing up on calling you. His conversations are not as deep and intense. His flatterings are not as excessive, because he got what he wanted. But when a man loves you, he's consistent and he's committed. So if you sleep with him, he's gonna show up again tomorrow. He's gonna have the same kind of intensity, probably more than likely greater, and he's gonna begin to push, for just a stronger bond and connection. Because when men find the one, when men love a woman, when a man loves a woman, he's committed and he's consistent. Any man that's out here, you don't know where he at, he changing every day. That's game. That's a joke. That's a joke. It's disrespectful, and you need to let him go on about his business. You don't even need to have a conversation with him. You just need to just let him go on, because that's a joke right there. He may call, like he may not call. You feel love today till he gets sex, and then after sex, 3 minutes later he got to get to his job, and you don't hear from him for 3-4 days. That's a joke. When a man loves you, he is consistent. He's consistent. He's consistent. When you think about a couple like David and Victoria Beckham, I don't know how many years these people have been together, but they, they were together. He's loved that girl since he was a young kid. Now he's a middle-aged man, and they still together rocking out. Because when a man loves you, he's consistent. See, when a man loves you, the reason why you need this quality in a man is because he gonna love the 20-some-year-old version of you. He gonna love the 30-year-old version of you, the 40-year-old version of you, the 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old version of you. Because love is consistent. You don't want no man that loves you when you got a great hair day, and when you don't have such a good hair day, his energy is a little off. You don't want that. When a man loves you, he's consistent. 1 Corinthians 13:8 says, love never fails. I love that. Love is consistent. 1 John 3:18 says, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth, because love is consistent. It's consistent. I've been consistent in Lisa's life from day one. That's why she can trust me. That's why she can trust me. Number six. When a man loves you, I only have 7. When a man loves you, when a man really loves a woman, he will exhibit thoughtful gestures. Small, thoughtful gestures and acts of kindness can be indicative of a man's love, as they may reflect his desire to express affection and care for the woman. See, a lot of times what happens is, especially women that totally subscribe to hypergamy, where you want a man of certain financial caliber, so forth and so on. And I mean, I get that. I get that. I don't discount hypergamy, but I think there's a point where you can go overboard and you can miss things that are more valuable than a man's wallet. Because a man can afford you doesn't mean that he can value you. And what happens with a man that has a lot of money is he'll break your defenses down with these large gestures, 3-week trip. If he wants access to your body bad enough, he'll bring you all around Europe for 3 weeks, first class, everything. And once he has that experience and he creates that soul tie, you find him shifting up on you. So it's not always the big things that a man does that demonstrates his love. The big things just demonstrate his financial capacity, really. It's the small things. When Lisa and I first got together, by no means was I a wealthy guy, but I did everything I could to get Lisa whatever I thought she deserved. And I was buying her all kind of stuff. I was buying her jewelry and fur coats and all this kind of stuff. And I'd bring that stuff and she'd say, yeah, that's nice, really nice. Oh, that's nice. One day I bought a card. I didn't even know what the card said. I just knew it was like, I think we were married at this point. I knew it said, to my wife or so. I knew it would apply to her. And man, I gave the girl the card after she opened the card, after she opened the other expensive stuff, and she started crying. I'd never seen her cry. She was crying because of the words on the card. Now at this point, I got to try to get the card so I can read what the card says, because I don't know what the card's saying. It was the small $3 card that evoked the emotion that I wanted to see with the expensive gift. It's because the love of a man is best expressed in small, thoughtful gestures. Small, thoughtful gestures. And then number 7, when a man loves a woman, there will always be respect and admiration. I never apologize for talking about my wife, because I respect and I admire my wife. And without my wife, there would be no R.C. Blakes as the world knows it. Oh, would I have been doing similar things to what I do? Absolutely. But I would not be nowhere near the capacity or the level that I'm at. It's because of my wife. And when a man loves a woman, he respects her. If a man disrespects you, there's no love there. A man in love may exhibit deep respect and admiration for the woman he loves, valuing her as an individual and showing appreciation for her unique qualities and strengths. A man in love will always respect you. When you find a man that respects you, asks you for your opinion, your thoughts, speaks to you with, in a certain tone, it's not that he's soft or weak. No, it's that he respects you. The same lion that can use his fangs to destroy a large animal in the jungle is the same one that comes home and handles his cubs gently with the same fangs, carries his cubs across the yard. Same ones that just got through killing something ferocious is now when a man respects you, it's not an indication of weakness, it's an indication of strength. He respects you and he admires you. And the Bible puts it this way in 1 Peter 4:8, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. When I think about a couple that fits into this part of this conversation, I think about Denzel Washington. It's a rare occasion that Denzel is interviewed for any length of time that he does not mention the contributions of his wife and how he could not be Denzel Washington without his wife. That is a demonstration of love. When a man loves you, he will respect you and he will admire you. 1 Peter 3:7 says, husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. When a man loves you, he respects you and he admires you. He has a great admiration for you. And so these are 7 signs that a man really loves you. And of course, there has to be, one of the most important things I mentioned in this conversation is consistency. A man has to be consistent. I'm not telling you, you can't be trying to figure out if you love a man that you met 14 days ago. Babe, you got to sit your happy self down and give this man a chance to live with you. Observe this man. Stop rushing. Stop giving your body away. Make a man wait on all of those things. Come on now. And see how he functions consistently. Because love doesn't need sex to thrive. Now, after you get married, that's a different story. But before you get married, if a man really loves you, he don't need sex before you get married to thrive. If he really loves you, he's willing to wait on whatever that experience is going to be. And I'm not trying, y'all know my position as a Christian, as a man of God. I think all y'all should stay out to bed. But hey, how many of us stayed out to bed? And that's not to give y'all a license to do so. All I'm saying is, if a man really loves you, and if you really set a standard, he ain't gonna run away because you're not giving him sex. I don't know how I got off on all that, but let me leave that alone. I hope you got something out of this today. Please, please, please go to the website, sign up for the mailing list, check out all of my online programs while they're there. I've been intending to pull those programs down for a while now. Actually, visually they're old, they're dated. I don't even look like that anymore. So while they're there, you can access them. Also, thanks to all of you who've sown into our lives. Lisa and I love you so much. Go to Amazon, pick up all of my books. If you've not registered for Queenology, go to queenology.net. Do that now, because very soon I'm coming to you to tell you it's sold out. Hey, I'll put it to you this way. 2 or 3 weeks ago, they had over 200 people on the waiting list for the Royal Court, for the VIP experience. That's the most expensive part of the whole weekend. We had over 200 people on the waiting list that we are trying to figure out how can we accommodate. Very soon, I'll be saying to you, Queenology is sold out. Queenology.net, you can go and sign up for you can definitely register for the Saturday intensive and brunch. That's going to be amazing. We're going to have the guys from Hardly Initiated. Dr. Aldwin Tart is going to be on our panel where the women will be able to ask the men questions you've always wanted to ask men. Powerful. You can also get tickets for the all-white party that Sunday night culminating with Dave Hollister. Oh my God, it's going to be absolutely amazing. You want to be at Queenology. Now listen, I think I'm done. Don't forget, I've been forgetting to mention BetterHelp Counseling. So many of you reach out and you say, can you counsel me? I don't counsel. I'm not a counselor. But we do have a long relationship with BetterHelp Counseling. And if you look in the description, there's a link for BetterHelp Counseling. If you use that link, it will afford you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And they, in turn, if it works for you, they will make a deposit into R.C. Blake's ministry because I referred them to you. Do it from the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you are. BetterHelp Counseling. I want you to go and sign up for that today. Go check it out at least. And just know that Lisa and I love you. You're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. So we will see you at the top. God bless you. Until next time.
We here at R.C. Blake's Ministries want to thank you for spending this time with us today. R.C. and Lisa are always honored to have you with us. Don't forget to reach out to us by visiting our website at www.rcblakes.com. While you're there, you may join our mailing list and receive a free download of The Laws of Manifesting Your Vision by R.C. Blakes. Also look at all of the online programs by R.C. You may find all books written by R.C. and Lisa. Once again, all of us here at R.C. Blake's Ministries want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And as we always say, see you at the top.
Hello, family. This is R.C. Blake's, and I am so thoroughly excited. I'm excited because Queenology 2024 is coming back to Atlanta, Georgia, August the 23rd through the 25th. The host hotel is going to be the Whitley Hotel. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Women are literally coming from around the world. It is a multicultural, multi-generational, multiracial movement of women from around the world. And I want to invite you and yours to meet Lisa and I in Atlanta, Georgia at the Whitley Hotel, August the 23rd through the 25th for Queenology. For those that have the Royal Court package, it will afford you your entire stay for the weekend. It will also afford you a private, formal dinner with Lisa and I to open Queenology up. It also affords you admission to every event, everything that's happening for the entire weekend. Now, we also have the Saturday brunch and intensive package, which allows you to get into the brunch where Lisa and I will be sharing the messages that God has given us for 2024 to share with the ladies. This year, I'll have my own message, and Lisa will also have her very own message. It's going to be powerful. During the Saturday brunch and intensive, we're also going to have a very distinguished panel of men that are going to sit before the queens and answer the questions that women have always wanted to ask men. It's going to be amazing. Now, also those that are part of the VIP experience, there will be a time where Lisa and the ladies will gather in what they call, I think, the pajama party. And it will be a time where women will have conversation among women. I'm really excited about the culmination of Queenology this year, because none other than the incomparable Dave Hollister is coming. To be a part of our closing event, the all-white party. He's going to sing the Queenology theme song, as well as entertain the ladies, the queens, for that evening. Queenology 2024 promises to be like none other. Those of you that want information, if you desire to be a vendor, queenology.net. Those of you that may need payment plans, queenology.net. Let nothing stop you from making your way to Queenology 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia this year. Tickets are going very quickly. I would love for you to meet us in Atlanta, August the 23rd through the 25th. Queens from around the world are coming. Queens from around the world are rising. It is going to be a coronation. It is going to be a crowning.